Hey guys, welcome back. It's Mike here. Welcome back to the channel. So, it is Sunday, January 30th, up in the Great White North up here. Fairly cold, not too much snow, not too much, we didn't get the big snowstorm that we thought we were going to have, but we still have snow up here. And it's just a reminder where we live up here. Nice winter January day. Can't believe January's just blown by. Hope everybody's doing well out there. All right, so as you can see, I've been fiddling around with my Unimat after I finally got my shop squared away. And I had this video all prepared in my head to have this fancy video doing some dividing on the Unimat dividing head. And I was working on it last night and kind of getting set up, and I thought I'd drill a couple of holes and get it started. I made this little cover for the M12 threads on the tailstock and the headstock to kind of protect it and stuff when I was moving around or doing different setups. And I thought I'd make a nice little aluminum cover here. And I thought I'd use the diameter and put some holes in it. Well, as I started drilling, well, first, before I even started drilling, starting to set it up, and I got to let you guys know, I've said this before in other videos, I'm a machinist. I have been for a long, long time. I'm a millwright, a maintenance technician working on big machinery. But first and foremost, always in my heart, I've always been a machinist, as my father before me. So thought I'd, come and do this dividing head thing, thinking it was going to be easy and everything. But I tell you, the one problem I've had so far, not a problem, but just a transition, a change for me, is I've been working on machinery, large and small, my whole adult life and then some. I've never worked on a micro machine like this before, and the most challenging thing for me has been to kind of change up my whole thought process. I got to remember, this is a little tiny machine. It's only 15, 16 inches long. It's got a little tiny motor, a little 100-watt motor. And, it's not made for taking hog cuts. It's not made for really hammering on it. You got to be gentle and basically take what I always used to think was whisper cuts. You got to be gentle. And that's been a big change for me. I got to have patience. So I've been taking that time to get used to this thing before I start putting videos out to you guys. It's not my intention to be a professional YouTuber. As I've said in the past, I'm just an old geezer, an old scooter tramp, having a little fun. I'm off work still. I haven't been able to gain regain the use of my legs and arms 100%. So this is still providing therapy for me after my fancy schmancy neck surgery, where they installed all sorts of fancy lightweight titanium aircraft quality hardware in my neck. So I'm babbling because I'm not used to this again. I was just starting to get used to it and get a feel for talking to a cheap phone on a cheap camera stand, and I'm still committed to doing that. This is totally amateurish, and probably to a lot of you guys out there, you guys make me look really silly. I really got to commend you all for the professionalism, not only with the filming, the editing, the production, the sound, but then to try and do that while you're machining, welding, fabricating, making stuff. It's in my if YouTube would have been around when I was a kid, up and coming and learning this stuff, I tell you, I'd be at NASA working on getting aircraft rockets to Mars. It's been terrific for me. I love it. I absolutely love it. You got guys out there like this old Tony, and you got Blondie Hacks. She's phenomenal. You got Pete, the internet shop teacher, and he reminds me of the instructors and teachers that I had when I was growing up and doing this stuff 45 years ago. Anyway, so I thought I was moving along, and it took a lot to set this little thing up, this little dividing head. There's a lot more to it than, the usual fare that I'm used to with the regular dividing heads, simple dividing, direct dividing, compound dividing. I thought this would be simple, direct dividing and setting up the head. Not so. Again, you get these big, sausages and hands in here and try to get all up in here and set this thing up. And it takes a while. This is where the patience comes in. So I was gonna do, I was gonna do 8 holes on a diameter or bolt hole pattern. All right, so this thing, the dividing head comes with the dividing head, comes with 2 T-bolts. All right, and I'll get into that later because I've obviously drilled some holes and it didn't go right, as you can see. It started off real good and it did not go well. So, and it also comes with the dividing attachments, the gears itself. Now, right now I have a 48 tooth head or gear in the back, and they're all labeled. They come 48, 40, if you can see that, 36 divisions, if you can see that, and then 30. And between the 4 of these attachments, you can pretty much hit all the divisions you're ever going to want on this, or your little Unimat here. 48 is the most common dividing head attachment in the back. You get the most divisions out of that. After that, between them all, you get for 48 interchangeable index plates is what they're called. You get circular divisions and combinations of 2 divisions, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, 24, and then 48. It's a very expensive little accessory. I tell you, if some of you guys we've talked, Machinist Matt and others, small lathe, SARS from small lathe, it's Machinist Matt likes to call it going down the rabbit hole, and man, he was not kidding. You get these little Unimats, and I tell you, it's not that you need the attachments, but you'll want them as it goes. It's crazy, I tell you. Yeah, it's very addicting, but it's a blast. There's virtually no end to what you can do with this little machine, and as I go along and get used to it and learn, I'll share with you guys. And right now I'm going to share a mistake. Main thing is with these little dividing heads, you gotta make sure, and there's also a lock back here, a table lock. It's an M5, and you'll see me turn it. That unlocks the whole thing so you can spin it freely. It's got a spring-loaded pin over here, all right, that locks the table in place. You pull it and it spins, okay? So I got the 48 tooth plate in the back, and you pick a spot. That's another thing. You got to find your centers. You got to make sure this thing is perpendicular to your head or wherever you want it. And as you can see, I'm not lined up over the bedways at all. I had to turn over this way to the right to get myself enough clearance and room to start drilling my holes on the part. So that's another consideration you have to take. And another one is the cross feed on the saddle, it's not too rigid. There's a tension screw here, and then there's a tension screw back for your X and Y axis. Well, you can reach the one in the back, but when you put the table on in this particular axis, in this particular setup, you can't reach this tight tension screw right here. You can't. So what I did is I put slight tension on here. I snugged it up. This is another M5. These are all M5s. Tension this up here till the point that I really couldn't turn it. I mean, I can still turn it and force it if I want. There's a lot of back play in this. There's a lot of backlash, but that's okay. It's a little lathe. I mean, give me a break. And so I snug it up, put some drag on there, I call it. But then once I found my spot in the center, and I'll talk about that in a second, then I lock this crossfeed tension screw up. So it gives me as much rigidity as I could possibly get. Something to think about. Okay. And I thought about, and then how am I going to get this, perpendicular or parallel with the ways? Well, before you put this 3-jaw chuck on, you got a small, tiny spot behind here of the plate that's flat, but it's only about that long. So it's not much to indicate. This is not flat or square or anything. It's a cast. This is cast. There's really nothing to I mean, you can indicate it, but I tried it. It's cumbersome. The indicator's too big. I was banging around, bumping around. I thought, ah, hell with this. So I took it off. And what you want to do is you want to blue this up or put some Sharpie on it and mark your spots on here where you want it. And then start there. You're going to have to eyeball it, maybe center punch it. These black marks here I just made as reference so I could kind of see my 8 spots where I kind of should be. And as you can see these over here, this one's good, that one's good, this one's good. And as I rotate this, you'll see like, uh-oh, something happened. So this one was good. Now, this is direct indexing, so I wanted to do 8 divisions. This is 48 tooth. Do the math. How many times does 8 go into 48? 6 times. So you're going to go 6 notches. Now, the thing with this stop on the side over here, this little spring-loaded pin, there's not much to it, and I'll show it to you when I take it apart. If you're not paying attention, like I wasn't last night at 2 o'clock in the morning, I got way off track. And if you get one hole off, the whole thing's going to be off, as you'll see. So that one was a good one. One click, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that looked nice. So I fired up the machine and I let her buck. Oh yeah, the other thing is, there's quill feet in this. It's like 5/8 of an inch. The head is so stiff on the spindle cartridge. This little handle, like I said, I've got to exercise patience, and I've got to get used to this little machine. I'm going to have to think of something else for this feed because I don't have the best setup here. It's just on a regular table, and when I start to move it, it's so stiff, it wants to move the whole table, shake the whole table. So I had to hold on to the milling post over here with one paw while I tried to do it as smooth as I could. All right. Something to think about. 5/8 inch of a travel, and I don't know what that is in metric, and you guys that do the metric system, God bless you, but it's too much to think about right now. Anyway, it's about 5/8 of an inch. So I did my rotations again, and this one was okay. This one was okay, and I thought I was doing good, and then all of a sudden I went to drop the next hole, and now you can see what's going on here. One hole was off over here somewhere, and then I just went batshit crazy with the holes. And once I started paying attention again, I just thought, the hell with it, and I just started drilling holes. Anyway, the point I wanted to show you is pay attention to what you're doing. This pin back here is not the most noticeable thing. If you're not paying attention and literally pull it out. Now what I discovered is I pull it out all the way, and it's not very far, and then I'll give it a little turn, and then I'll let go of it, and then listen for that click. Did you hear that? Right there. And it's a lot of work, man. I wanted to do 8 divisions, and you got to really pay attention to what you're counting. That's 1. That's 2. Now imagine if you wanted to get into something like a 12-hole division or 10-hole or something like that. I mean, holy. The main thing is just pay attention and count. These teeth on the indexing plates, you can see they are not very pronounced, not very deep. And when I show you the spring-loaded lock pin, it's even less, and I consider my dividing head setup pretty minty condition. So if you have one, or you're thinking of getting one, these are some of the things you want to pay attention to. This thing was new or new old stock, and that's in pretty good shape. And there's the pin that locks into these teeth. It's not very much. So you really have to pay attention when you're doing your dividing. But it works really cool. I don't really care too much about this. It's not a big deal. You can cut gears with this. You can cut slots, bolt patterns. You can make bolt heads. You can make hex. It's incredible. And if you get an opportunity, you guys, and I know this is maybe a stretch, but again, you go down the rabbit hole and holy balls. I'm a sucker for everything. Tooling, books, authenticity, vintage stuff. If you can get your hands on one of these or a copy of it, they're all over eBay. This one I happened to get from a gentleman. I saw it on there, and he just showed a couple of the books. He must have got it, or he got it from somebody that ordered the whole deluxe catalog. So it was this one, and it's like 5 or 6 other catalogs, and it's from the American company Edistall. So all the stuff in here is all imperial measurements. Thank you. You know, I don't bash metric. I'm getting much, much better at it. I can tell you 35, 40 years ago, I went through trade school, and back then they were trying to convert the United States over to complete metric, and I was having a fit. I was like, what? No way. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, if you can get your hands on one of these, it's pretty slick. It's got some good tricks in there that you'd never think about. And, you know, in my next videos, I'll be going over some of that, but mainly I wanted to concentrate on this. Okay, so I'm going to take that out. Always have on hand your Allen wrenches, M5. Okay, I get T-handles because they work better for my hands, and they're a little bit longer and less hassle than a Allen wrench. So this, oops, that's locked now. All right, so this is a scroll chuck, and I have Tommy bars, but I just don't want to snap and break them. I'd rather do this. So these are 5/32 pin punches. Okay, they fit perfectly. Cost me $1.99 at the local Harbor Freight. I don't know if you guys got Harbor Freight over the big pond, but we got them over here, and I tell you, everybody needs a Harbor Freight in their backyard. Mine's not too far away. The Minister of Domestic Affairs hates it when I say that I'm going on a hardware run because she knows where I'm going. So now I got to think of a better excuse, like I'm going to get dog food for Otis or something, or toilet paper. I don't know. Yeah, Harbor Freight could be a godsend and a miracle and a curse. But I love it there for every hobbyist. All right. Oh, you guys notice? You see these? I made myself a set of soft jaws. Yeah. I suppose you guys want a video of that, huh? That was kind of cool little work. I used to make them regular size in the bigger machines all the time out of copper sheet metal, or even, well, anything I can get my hands on. But here, all you need is for the Unimat. Sure, now I can't get it open. Is 1/2-inch copper tubing. Had this laying out in the garage. You can see I'm cutting the hell out of it. And this is what you start with. And maybe I'll make a video of that later, but boy, these come in handy. And they're fun to make. So I made 3 of them. Actually, I made 3 plus 1, and then I kept the one on the 4-jaw there, just so I don't lose it. But yeah, maybe I'll make a video of that. Okay, let's get the drill out. And by the way, I'm assuming that you guys all know how to set up your Unimat for drilling and milling. Okay, I skipped that. There's plenty of videos out there, but if you want me to, I guess I will later. It's not a big deal. I got a spacer head coming up here to give me a little bit more room for milling and lathe work. So out comes my drill, and I'm going to show you about setting up this dividing head. So like I said, always have your M5 Allen wrenches, and I tell you what, the way I have it set up now, I'm going to lock that down so I don't lose those soft jaws, because if I can, I will. I drop stuff, I lose it. It's just incredible. Ugh. Don't get old. So if you can see down here, we have 2 M5 screws. Got one there, and then one over here where I'm pointing. Your regular Allen head wrench is not going to go in there. Okay, you got to do one of 2 things. You got to either have yourself or make yourself a stubby M5 Allen wrench, or you've got to turn or face those screws down, or you could even buy them that way. I knew I had these, so, but you can grab yourself a junky M5 and grind it down on the bench grinder. And it worked pretty good. That's the only way you're going to get in here in this setup. Now watch, I'm gonna move this back to give myself some room. Yeah, I've made a few things on here. I made a bronze bushing for my little C-clamp vise. I'll probably show you that later. That turned out okay. That was a necessity. I couldn't help it. You see how that is going back over there? There is no way. I even tried a, you know, you can kind of get in here with the ball end, but not really. That was just one of the few drawbacks I saw with this thing. Not many, because I've said before, these guys had their heads together when they made this thing. It's really slick. Okay. I'll probably make myself some stubby socket head cap screws to go on here to make it even easier. But I just wanted to get it in here. And by the way, the way these work is that you get these indexing heads, or these dividing plates, and you can see the 3 drilled holes, all right? So when I take this apart, there's a backing plate back here, right there. And you see there's a snap ring. And we call them, well, we call them Jesus clips, because when they ping and fly, these big ones aren't so bad. You can tell where they go and you can kind of track them down. But the itty bitty tiny ones, you hear ping and that's it. And you're like, yeah, you can imagine what we say. That's why we call them Jesus pins. So, so the backing plate goes on there and it screws in. There's your 3 screws that we're all used to. So you could put the 3 jaw in there. You can put a 4 jaw in there. The possibilities are endless. You can put the face plate with your toe clamps and T-nuts in there. You can put a regular lathe dog face plate in there. I mean, it's unreal what the combinations you can end up with. But in order to get that clip out of there, you got to have one of these. Okay. Snap ring pliers. All right. Again, go to your good old hardware store or Harbor Freight. Make sure you got to go in the right way, like I don't. I'm doing this off camera, but because I can't fit all this in here. Let's see. There we go. Just like that. And you take your 3 screws out. How you guys doing with your Unimats? You guys got any projects lined up, you guys? I've gotten some subscribers out of this. Pretty cool. Not many, but thanks for watching anyway. I'm just doing this for fun. I've thought about getting editing equipment or editing apps, software, whatever, and maybe a decent camera and And I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I don't, that's not my thing. Not yet, anyway. I just like screwing around here and having a little fun, and takes my mind off things, you know. It's quiet up here in the watch shop. I got to get busy. I've been messing with this Unimat so much. I got to get shift over to my right over here. And I got two. Oh, there goes the soft jaw. See what I mean? I got 2 pocket watches I still got to work on that are sitting there staring at me every time I walk by. I'm like, oh, I got to get over there. But I wanted to make this dividing head thing video. Okay, so, and you just take that out. There's the, oh yeah, you got to take your back plate off of that. But the back plate you take off of this or any specific piece, make sure you keep that back plate and whatever jaws or attachment piece, keep those together. Your back plate, now I have my back plate for this, it's sitting over there. I'll put that together after I'm done. And there's the business end. There's the indexing plate. So now that I took the snap ring out, they're pretty snug, I'll tell you that. Pull the pin, and they pop out. Now when you get these things, if you just got one, and there's that pin. Now I got some grease inside there, but look at the pin. It's not very much. And look at the teeth, and that's just grease. Those aren't worn. But this is an extremely nice machine fit, slide fit. So there's not much clearance. Make sure if you just get these or you're thinking about getting them, make sure you inspect them when you get them. I've seen some has a lot of surface rust, you know, that'll screw up everything. Make sure they're clean. Take some memory cloth to them. And then throw a little lubricant or something in there, like grease or something. Make sure you clean the inside of this too. All right, and then this is the other way. You mount it in this axis like that. So, and then you can see those T-nuts, and I'm going to either turn them down or I'm going to get some stubbies. But there's the other bolt holes, T-nut holes to put in that access. But you can see how this works. It's fun, but it takes patience and take your time. I'm still getting used to this tiny little stuff. So, well, since I dropped one of them soft jaws, I suppose I'll find it before I step on it and squash it. Yeah. There it is. Maybe I'll show you. Yeah, there's a few videos out there, I think, of making these things. Everybody's got their own style. I just used mine, what I was used to, making the big ones. But it's a lot different making these little tiny things. But yeah, I just used, it came out of there. And I need some sort of portable bandsaw because my hacksaw drew blood. All right, you guys. I think I've done enough babbling. I can't think of much else, I guess. Always good to talk to you guys. My shop's really coming around. I can't believe how much stuff you can acquire. That rabbit hole is getting big. You guys got any questions, or you can think of something that you might want to see in detail or something, I can certainly do that. Oh, made myself a nice little oil can here out of a chicken salad tin. Braised it on there. It looks filthy now, but oh yeah. Cutting Earl. Yep. Say that with a nice American Southern drawl. Cutting Earl. Cutting oil. There's ice. Keeps from tipping and losing oil. All right. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. I got some other stuff coming, that's for sure. Milling table stuff. Oh, boring head. I'm looking at making or getting a boring head for this thing, although I don't know how I'm going to feed it. And some other stuff. The sky's the limit. All right. You guys have a good day. Later.